Hi, I'm Senator Tom Harkin. First of all, thank you for inviting me to address your 27th annual conference, but I regret that I can't be with you in New Orleans. But I do appreciate this opportunity to join you by this video. Let me first extend special greetings to some of your leaders: IATR President Matthew Dowse, IATR Board Chair Tom Drishler, and IATR Board Member Malachi Hull, your host here in New Orleans. Over the years, I've worked to improve access for people with disabilities to all modes of transportation, including buses, trains, planes, and taxis. As many of you know, from its earliest days, the disability rights movement focused on access to transportation. In the 1960s, as public transit systems expanded, people with disabilities were often, figuratively and literally, left behind because they could not access a bus, a train, a subway, or a trolley. Early disability protesters such as Bob Kafka, also Bob Coward, a great disability advocate from Washington, D.C., who unfortunately just passed away this month, they advocated passionately for access to public transportation. When we passed the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1990, we worked to dismantle this barrier. Not only a barrier to free movement, but also a barrier to employment, to health care, education, all of the essential functions of daily life. This issue was so important that transportation had its own section in the ADA, Title II, Part A, Subpart 1. And our work together has been enormously successful. Today, thanks to the ADA, most transit systems in the U.S. are accessible to people with disabilities. Here in Washington, D.C., the Metro subway system is a shining example of our national progress in making transportation more accessible. All Metro trains are accessible. All Metro stations have elevators for access by passengers with disabilities. Now, these accessible features are a benefit not only to those with disabilities, but to the entire community. For example, elevators that provide access to subway platforms also improve access for parents with small children in strollers, travelers with wheeled suitcases, and bicyclists who bring their bikes onto the subways. We're seeing more subway and train stations offering added accessibility features such as flashing light signals to alert people who are deaf that a train is approaching. We see physical modifications such as textured platform edges to help those who are blind or visually impaired to know that they're approaching the edge of the platform. Audio alerts let all riders know when train doors are opening and closing and which stop is next. Many train systems now include visual displays that indicate upcoming stops. All of these so-called disability features actually help all of us as we travel about. Now, in an area that we did not address in the ADA, unfortunately, we are now seeing substantial progress in making taxis and for-hire transportation more accessible. Last December in New York City, the Taxi and Limousine Commission, the mayor's office, and the disability community finalized an agreement that will make 50% of all taxis in New York City accessible by 2020. In Washington, D.C., we have also made progress. The Disability Taxi Cab Advisory Committee has recommended a goal of 40% accessible taxis by 2018, and a long-term goal of 100% accessibility. And of course, with the emergence of new transportation models such as Uber and Lyft, we need to determine how those services are held to the same standards of accessibility. So I commend IATR for addressing this issue. I look forward to your suggestions for making all ground transportation available and accessible to people with disabilities. I thank you again for inviting me to speak. Thank you for being such great partners in making transportation accessible for all. As you all know, I'm retiring from the Senate this year, but I'm not retiring from this fight and this effort. I will continue to work in this area of accessibility in transportation for people with disabilities in the future. So look at it this way: I'm getting rid of a lot of other stuff I have to do in the Senate to focus on the things I really love and care about, and this is one. So I look forward to working with you even on into the future. So I wish you all a successful conference. Enjoy New Orleans. And I guess I'd say let the good times roll for everyone, including those with disabilities. Have a safe trip home, everyone.